So they see Tupac, and now they're pulling up. And at what point does Keefe give the gun to Orlando?
Just prior to actually pulling up, once they see the entourage going in the opposite direction, they make their U-turn. As they're approaching the line of cars, that's when Keefe hands it to the back seat, because he knows that they're going to be on the left side of the vehicle, and he's going to have to shoot across the face of Deondre Smith. Oh, I'm sorry, Terrence Brown.
Okay. Did he first try to give it to Terrence?
No, he first tried to give it to Deondre Smith, who was in the back seat behind Terrence.
Okay. And then what happened?
Deondre Smith was like, nah, I'm not the one who's going to be doing this. And Orlando just grabbed the gun and proceeded to shoot.
Okay. And so then here's where Keefe says, he looked shook in his eyes. And then he says in the book that Tupac reached for a gun, or he thought Tupac pulled a gun on him. Mm-hmm. Is there any truth to that?
It's ridiculous, and Keefe knows it's ridiculous, and I think Keefe is trying to, I think he thinks that if he can provide this kind of idea that it's a self-defense situation, somehow that will mitigate his, not responsibility, but I think that Keefe believes that if he gives there a possibility of a self-defense claim, that should there ever be charges filed, he can make this idea that, hey, the guy was pulling a gun on us, and therefore we just, it's just this long after the fact look going, well, if I'm going to admit to this, I better figure out how to make it defensible. Okay.
So would this defense have anything in court?
The whole story is ridiculous. And, he's waited, he had all his opportunities to say that that's what happened with us originally. That would have been the time to tell somebody that, yeah, it was self-defense, Tupac pulled a gun. If he's going to make that claim, it should have been made at the time that we interviewed him. And of course, Tupac wasn't pulling a gun on anybody. He got completely caught off guard. And right. So it's just Keefe doing what he does. He keeps switching up his story because he's trying to figure out how to stay above in front of this whole thing.
Okay, all right. And then so after the shots are fired, the Cadillac takes off, and the girls looks like accidentally ended up following them as they were trying to get out of the way of everything.
Yeah, the girls are just like trying to get away from the chaos. As the shooting ensues, they're not sure what's going on, and they just go in the direction that seemed like the easiest escape route. So there's nothing like intentional about it. They just happen to turn the same way that the Cadillac did.
Right. And then somebody else from the death row entourage followed Keefe too, correct?
Yeah, Buntree was driving his Celica, his Supra, and then he had what's his name in the car with him. The name escapes me right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And they followed him, and how far did they follow him?
A very short distance. Once they got around the corner, the Cadillac was taken off. They're receiving fire back in their direction, and so they kind of just backed down.
Okay, so Keefe and everybody, they take off. They go park the car. And did they stash the gun?
According to him.
Where did they stash the gun?
In the wheel well of the car.
Okay, and then they take off walking. And he says they seen Tupac and them in the ambulance?
Well, an ambulance went by. Obviously, they can't see inside of it, so they're just assuming that that's because the timing would have been consistent with that being Tupac in the ambulance. So, it's their impression that was the ambulance, and it probably was.
What's up? This is Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Capone News.